Howdy.
Howdy.
He's all here.
It's this picture you on Facebook here. No.
Oh, yeah.
All right. By my clock, it is 8:30, so we'll call the February 1st meeting of the Utilities Commission to order. The clerk may call the roll.
Mr. Sires,
Here.
Mr. Ball,
Here.
Mr. Reinhardt,
Here?
Ms. Duesenberg,
Here.
Mr. Gant,
Here.
All right. We have a quorum present. Move on to minutes approval. We have before us the minutes from the January 4th meeting. Do we have any, members, you can see those before you. Do you have any comments or corrections? Nope. Hearing none, I would entertain a motion for the approval of the minutes.
Make a motion to approve the minutes from the last meeting?
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Minutes are approved. Moving on to the adjustment of the journal. We have with us, some adjustments and corrections for January. Anybody, Brad, Brian, anybody want to, Aaron, want to speak on these adjustments?
Don't see anything out of the ordinary.
Yeah, I can. Most of these are just credits for leaks.
Okay.
So 2 Chester Avenue was a credit for wastewater only, so they had a leak and a repair, and we did an inspection to verify. The one at 3 Highland Drive was a service line leak, so they got credited for water and sewer on that one. Next one is the bulk water sales. And for 149 Plymouth Road was landscape. So over the summer, it's one of the new builds up there.
Yep.
They put in a bunch of landscaping and did a significant amount of watering, so that was a credit for that, just on the wastewater side. And then 200 Commerce Drive was a return payment that was over the limit. And then 106 North Concord Street was also a wastewater credit for a leak that they had a really hard time finding. They had several plumbers out to try to identify that, and they fixed a couple of different things. So it ended up being a decent amount, but that was just, again, on the wastewater side because it didn't go to the sewer. So.
Move to approve.
All right.
Second it?
Second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right. Moving on to a new business, we have Taylor Stage, 406 Johnson Avenue. Somebody here to speak on that? All right, ma'am, you may come up, and we'll have the swearing statement up there.
I don't think we normally do a swearing.
Do we not do a swearing here? Nope. Okay. Well then, say your piece.
Hello. I'm a nervous speaker, so bear with me.
All right. Just go ahead and state your name and your address for us real
Okay.
quick.
My name is Taylor Stage. I'm here for the property at 406 Johnson Avenue. My husband sent me here today. I believe you know my husband, Tanner.
I
Eric.
do.
I'm here because we purchased the property in early December of last year, and we were assured of a clear and free title. And within a week, we were told a sewer assessment had been missed on the property of a balance of $786.60 and was submitted to the county sometime in November before we purchased the property. This bill wasn't racked up by us, it was racked up by the previous owner of the property, so we're asking if there's any chance that you could forgive the sewer assessment on the property.
So, who missed it on when did you close on this?
We closed on it on December 11th, and we went through Mount Vernon Land and Title Co.
And what does your title insurance company say about this?
They will not do anything about it.
That's interesting.
It's like an E&O situation.
I mean, that seems to be somebody made an error.
Yeah.
That's just, I mean, I'm just curious,
Well-
because that it would certainly seem to be that that's something that they should have caught when they were doing the title search,
Yeah.
because it was properly when did you go into contract on this?
We went into contract with it a couple days into December, and we closed on the 11th.
And we put this in November?
End of November, but the county wouldn't have had it put on right away, so I think it was a matter of timing.
Okay. So it probably, all right, I see what the issue is.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
Well, so just for this commission, this property is in Clinton Township, so we would be collecting, part of it would be collecting money due to the city, part of it is collecting money due to Clinton Township, since you have Clinton Township fees being in Clinton Township, so
And the question is, can we forgive those fees?
most likely not.
Yeah.
We might be able to have a partial consideration, but I don't believe we have the authority to forgive fees that are owed to the township that we're required under contract to collect.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would also agree with Mr. Ball's analysis in that if this commission wishes to entertain forgiving the city fees, that we can do that, but the amounts due the township, the Clinton Township Water and Wastewater, whatever they call it, we would not be able to forgive those. You would have to speak to them about that.
Okay.
Any other thoughts?
Are we able to know what the difference would be then in those fees?
I could
So what
calculate it
would
for
be-
you, I don't have it with me. It would
Yep.
take me a little time to get that put together, because it's over several months.
It would seem like that would be necessary information for us to know what we're forgiving.
Right. The other thing, Rob, if it's been certified to the county, that we're still going to owe them money because it's been certified and they take a fee off of the collections, right?
10%.
So yeah, so we're looking at
So there's
city-
3 sets of money.
Yeah, exactly. The city, the amount due the city, the amount due the township, and then what we had to pay the county, no matter what. So it's $700, 786.
With
So-
60 cents.
So $78 is going to be owed to the county no matter what. And then we have whatever percentage is ours and whatever percentage is the township's.
I'll have to calculate, that'll take me a little bit, but I can calculate that.
Have you spoken to your real estate agent or had the closing folks speak to the previous owner?
Yes. They won't do anything about it, and Louise can't afford to pay it, so.
Was there a disclosure document? Because that's something you could provide us.
I do not have that with me. My husband paid off some of the utility stuff that she had as per the agreement, but this was outside of the agreement, so.
So it seems like within the scope of our authority, correct me if I'm wrong here, but we can, if the commission so chooses, forgive the city's portion of this, less the fee that would make the county whole. So you're talking, you would still be on the hook for whatever you owe Clinton Township, plus the 7806 or whatever that we would have to send to.
And we could, and you could ask her to get the disclosure documents, as Mr. Ball noted, and give Brad the time to calculate out exactly what we're looking at here.
Can you help us understand? I believe you only have sewer service. Is that correct at this address?
Yes.
Okay, so it's still complicated, but it not having water service, it's just the part that's paid out of the sewer and their membership fee for the district.
Oh.
So I do not believe that we'll be able to take action today, but but we will keep in contact
So-
and
Okay.
get some information.
So what you would want to do is get your disclosure documents
Okay.
and send them over to Brad.
Okay.
so that he can add that to the packet, so that they'll have it for next time so they can take action.
Okay.
Okay?
Alrighty.
Yeah, and then if Brad can separate out the 3 pots of money so that we understand what part we have authority over.
Alrighty. Okay. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You did a good job.
I was really nervous, but thank you. Normally I make my husband do this stuff.
Yeah, make him show up. All right. All right, next topic is utility commission bylaws. So let's move on to that now.
Get those in. I know the mayor was working on those.
I don't have them.
Which I don't have.
Okay.
Which makes that simple, so,
Sorry about that.
next
Oh,
topic.
Yeah, the mayor was leading that one, so.
Yeah. All right, we'll check that one out next time. All right. Now to the Edgewood Road Utility Replacement Project.
Great. This is mainly just an update for folks here and the public. We've been contacted by Columbia Gas. They are going to be proceeding with emergency gas line replacements in the area. Their system has failed. They're getting water in their lines. They will be proceeding to emergency construction. Our water lines are also in a state of failure. We've experienced significant problems. I mean, they were out there, last week working on it. This water line is costing us enormous amount of overtime, lost water, damage to the street. You know, we're seeing the sewers in various states of collapse. We will recommend that we go forward with a complete replacement of all utilities on Edgewood from just south of Gambier to US 36. So that is in budget deliberations. Our advisement to council is this is very important. There's a whole section of housing south of Gambier that it relies on this water line. There's no loop. There's no easy way to do a loop because of shallow bedrock. And it's a big problem. So we look at our customers and we say, hey, we're going to offer you clean water 24 hours a day, and we need to keep that promise. Questions?
Well, hearing none. Is that a motion for a recommendation, or?
Do we need it? We can.
I mean,
I'll make a motion that we recommend to City Council the complete replacement of the utilities on Edgewood Road as part of the current budget package.
I'll second it.
and we have a second. All right, the clerk may call the roll.
Mr. Shires?
Yes.
Mr. Ball?
Yes.
Mr. Reinhardt?
Yes.
Ms. Misenberg?
Yes.
All right, motion is adopted.
Question? Can you define?
Can you please come up to the podium and state your name
I'm Gary Kester,
and your address, please?
24 Eastgate Drive.
All right.
I think you were defining what portion of Edgewood that your motion is for. Can you be definitive on that? Be from 229 to where?
The south side of 229, there's a sanitary manhole in Edgewood Road. From that manhole to the north side of US 36.
Okay, thank you.
All right. So now, on to the wastewater treatment plant major rehabilitation update.
Well, Aaron, you want to start to talk about your new person?
Yes, we filled our assistant director for the wastewater treatment plant,
Quite a celebrity, I hear.
Charlie Brown.
Yes. Got a big one, guy.
His first day was Monday, so he's just kind of feeling everything out, getting to know the plant. Be probably his first month, get to recognize the paperwork and familiar with everything. And today we also added a chief operator. This is his first day. We hired that internally from our operator pool. Everybody's going to collaborate and we'll come up with some plans to start moving forward. A lot of stuff at the wastewater treatment plant that's been neglected over the years.
Yeah, so now that we have these folks in place, we're going to take a little bit of time through the next couple months and tour other plants and look at equipment that may or may not be used in our upgrade and interview operators and directors of other departments to see if they like this equipment. If they don't, get the plus and minuses. It was super important, so we're behind the 8 ball, obviously, but it's super important that we get the team together at the wastewater plant, get them familiar, give them a couple days to get familiar before we start going on tour. So the project's still going. We just got a notice from the EPA that our permit modification is in process for extending our time to get the phosphorus treatment underway. So we'll be continuously coordinating with the EPA. We had a kickoff meeting for the project within the last month.
A couple weeks ago.
We had a kickoff meeting with the all the departments of the EPA that are relevant to this, and we'll be moving forward. Again, there's a budget item for to continue this also.
And Arcadis has been in town here the last couple weeks doing all the surveying and things like that they're gonna need to do, so I think they're about finished up with that.
Okay. If there are no questions or further comments on that, we'll keep moving right along. Floodplain study update, discussion on expanding the study to the tributary streams.
Yep. Okay, so as promised by the mayor and city council, we have started the citywide floodplain study using the ARPA funds. And the first effort was to survey all the bridges from the north side of town to Mount Vernon Avenue at the wastewater treatment plant. That work is completed. We are discussing scoping with our folks that will be doing the computer modeling to simulate the flooding. As we were getting into those discussions, they see a high value in looking at Dry Creek, Delano, and Center Run, surveying those bridges and understanding how the flooding will interact with the main stem Kokosing River to get us the best answer possible. So we have started discussions about using additional ARPA money and perhaps mixed with stormwater funding to get this effort done in 2024.
What did they hope to learn from that? I just, as someone who doesn't understand that process fully.
Yeah, so the floodplain that we operate under was based on survey and modeling work done in 1974, 1975. So the stream channel has widened, has deepened, bridges have been changed out, but the modeling effort has not been updated. So the mapping has been updated, but not the simulation of the flood. So our goal is to, remeasure all of the bridges and re-simulate the flood using today's standards versus the 1974 or 75 standard to give our public a better feel for what we believe the floods could be. And then we can start making better decisions on what could be done with the levee or not. Because if we make decisions based on the current state, we would be making decisions based on computer modeling that was done in 1974 or 75. And that if we apply for federal aid to work on the levee, they're not going to accept it because the work that was done then doesn't meet. It's good enough to issue floodplain insurance. It's not good enough to design a levee.
So it's more a question of accuracy than
Right.
anything else. Okay.
And not saying that we're going to replace the. We're not saying we're going to replace the levee. This next steps are, once we have a functioning model, we will test different alternatives. Perhaps discussing changing out bridges, raising bridges, perhaps raising houses. There's a whole procedure manual that the FEMA and the Corps of Engineers have on the steps that you need to prove. Essentially, the last step is to build a levee, right? You need to make sure that there aren't other things that are significantly less impact and significantly less cost that can be implemented to reduce your flooding and keep our folks safe. So that's, we want to make the best decisions, and,
Want to make an educated decision?
yeah, we want to make the educated decision, so. Cool.
Thank you.
All right, if there's no further comment, move on to drip credit press release. Mr. Cook.
So, we are putting together the drip credit press release. I need to send it over to Todd Hill. That's kind of my rough draft there on that last page. Basically, we just want to notify the public that, you know, during extreme cold weather that we do allow or recommend even sometimes that you let your water drip at a minimum level. Trickle is what we call it. And that just keeps the water moving through your meter so that you don't have any freezing issues, which would cause you to not have any more water. And then we also wanted to put a deadline to have those applications turned in by so that we can get them processed and credited back to customers. One of the things we like to point out is that the credit does have a maximum of 900 cubic feet. So you definitely want to make sure you're a trickle, not a full blast. That's not going to get covered. So we'll be supplying that to Todd today to get that up on the website and sent out. And
Very nice. I know the mayor likes to have a quote from somebody.
a quote.
Yeah.
We need to put a quote in there.
I mean, that's up for you to work out.
Yeah, yeah. I'll work on that.
Caddyshack's a
I'm s-
great movie.
I'm still
You
learning.
just wanna
Yeah.
slip it
Yes.
over. Yeah. Oh, no. Are you concerned at all? This would be my communications major jumping back in here. So we're calling it a I see freeze credit request, the term trickle, and then drip.
Yes.
So,
Yeah, we could probably unify some of that
yeah,
terminology.
yeah,
a
that
little
would be
bit.
the only thing. So, as long as those things are, you know, as long as it's cohesive and people know that those aren't three different things, then
Right.
we're, yeah,
Yeah, I understand that.
Apply for 3 different credits.
yeah.
I think the title. I think the
Then never pay a
title.
bill again.
Yeah, I think the title of the form is a freeze credit request form.
Okay,
So
yeah.
we'll probably stick with freeze credit.
That would be good.
Yeah.
Okay.
But feel free to describe, yeah, I would definitely describe it as a drip, not a trickle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A trickle.
Yeah, they say
know that they don't
pencil
have
lead
to-
size stream. I think is what
That's,
the actual form says. So yeah, I'll try to bring some more information over from the
there you
form.
go.
That
Yep.
might be good to include in here. It might be useful, just to, I know people sometimes don't read the fine print on the forms, but they might,
Yeah.
if they're submitting the form, they've probably seen this, so.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
And speaking from someone that really wouldn't even understand what 900 cubic feet per unit
Oh,
Yeah,
are.
right.
Put some gallons in
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we can do that.
Yep. Yeah, you might
'Cause
definitely.
If I'm
define-
looking at it, I'm thinking, I can fill up my whole living room with this thing. Like, I'm good, man.
See, our goal
Yeah.
has been to teach people to think in cubic feet instead
Right.
of gallons.
Yeah,
Just-
no.
We're trying to educate.
This is America.
I think they think in terms
Yeah.
of dollars.
Yeah. I'm thinking-
Neither gallons or cubic feet.
When they were explaining the crane used at Intel, they said you could stack 2 statues of liberties up to measure it, and they're like, which proves 2 things: 1, that it's really big, and 2, Americans will use anything but the metric system.
Yeah, don't put it in, yeah, cubic, metric, anything, yeah.
All right. Questions on that? Good to go? All right. All right, and then late entry to the agenda, we've got a non-compliant agreement, and Brian's got a little more information on that.
Okay, so we have updated what used to be the trailer park policy in our rules and regulations to expand use of non-compliant materials in outside of the public water system. So what this applicant is doing is they're going to connect to city water, use ductile iron pipe. They're going to go into a vault. We're going to have a backflow system, a meter. Then to get to their facility, they would like to directionally bore a plastic pipe. We do not allow any type of plastic pipes in the connection between basically the city and the building. Once you go inside the building, there's no building codes in Knox County, and we do not have any jurisdiction. So after they enter the building, don't know what it's up to them, whatever they do. if they're subject to state inspection, there are those rules if they're subject to fire system permits. So this applicant is Mac Industries. They're moving their concrete batch plant to, they're no longer building beams at the Howard Street facility. So this water will only be going to processed water. There is no wastewater component. They're going to put it into the concrete, and the water will leave the site on a semi truck in the concrete. And so then they'll have some other treatment for the water that is excess, but it won't be going to the sewer. It won't be used for drinking or any type of human consumption. So they have filled out the application to the requirements of our rules and regulations, and I will make a motion that we accept this non-compliant agreement today.
I'll second the motion.
We have a motion and a second to approve this non-compliant agreement. Is there any discussion on this motion? Hearing none, I'll have the clerk call the roll.
Mr. Salyers,
Yes.
Mr. Ball,
Yes.
Mr. Reinhardt,
Yes.
Ms. Mazenberg,
Yes.
Motion carries.
Great. Sign there.
All right, and while I sign this, we'll move on to old business, which is the shut-off changes update. And Mr. Cook, take it away.
Okay, so I wanted to follow up with you guys. Last meeting, I told you that I would reach out to our billing software provider and get some information on what it would take, or if it's possible to track deposits for water service. So what we did find out is that it is capable. We can keep those balances, but it doesn't quite work the way that we had discussed. So there's no way for the system to automatically release funds after a certain amount of time. It would all be manual for us. Therefore, we would have to track everybody's date on when they put their deposit in. So I don't know that that's going to be a good route to go. If we still wanted to entertain deposits, I would make it more of a permanent deposit until they part ways. That is how the system's kind of designed to handle that. And then if we did decide to go that route, I'd probably want to talk to the auditor of the city and make sure that, we have things set up to be able to do that as well. Because that's obviously money that would sit there and be held. The other three items, like as Tanner mentioned this morning, we have sent that out on the bill, letting people know that those changes are coming and the dates that they will be changing. So we'll move forward with that. And then we also changed the non-payment fee. $40 non-payment fee now gets applied at the next bill rather than at the day of shut-off, which has, I think it helped a lot as far as arguments went. We'll see next month when they see it on their bill. We'll see how that worked out. But that also did remove that from the adjustment journal. You probably didn't notice that too well, but the $40 fee total is no longer on there. So I can still get the count if you guys would like to see that. But because that's being applied at the same time that the bill is being created, it's all built into that billing batch. So, which is also a good thing for us, I think, as far as the city goes, or the office. You guys have any questions? I think that covers the majority of my homework for.
Yeah. So that help me out here. That $40
non-payment fee.
Well, not the non-payment fee. Oh my gosh, I'm blanking.
Late fee.
The what's that?
Late fee?
No, not the late fee. So the down payment essentially. What are we calling that?
The non-payment fee?
Not the non-payment fee.
Deposit.
The deposit.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah.
Woo!
Or too early. Yeah. So the deposit, we are anticipating starting that around May.
I guess I'm still asking if you want
If
to.
we want to do that, I think that is a good approach. But it was, I mean, we kind of waffled back and forth on giving it back at some point, correct?
Right. That would be difficult to manage.
Right.
With our current system.
With your
Yes.
current system, which we were kind of back and forth on doing that in the first place.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
So the homework was to find out if that was even feasible to
Right.
do regardless. What are the thoughts on the deposit down payment / whatever was kicking around in my head? What are our thoughts about that?
Logistically, to track it and keep everything straight, it'd be hard to do.
Well, they can't do it
Yeah.
anyway. So, cut to May, right, for new customers, because we're not looking backward. That's
Right.
the intention.
Right.
For new customers, is it the opinion of your office that we should start assessing a $40 deposit? Is that,
No, I
had we
I
landed
think,
on a $40? Is
So,
that what the,
out
or
of
am
the
I
f-
confusing those figures?
No, yeah, I think you're getting it mixed up. The $40 is the non-payment fee.
Okay.
I think your deposit you would want to do at least a month, if not 2 months, of
Okay.
of whatever their bill would be,
Right.
which also cannot be calculated by the
Okay.
system. So we would be either selecting a single deposit, which would be across the board for everyone,
Mm-hmm.
or we would have to go in and calculate what a minimum bill is for each person to put that in, which also I don't want to put that kind of workload on the office.
Okay.
Not that it's impossible, it would just be a lot of extra work. And then the benefit, if you're not turning that back into people, is basically just the final payment, right? Which I would like to probably do some studies on to see what we're actually losing on that end before we determine that a deposit is going to take care of that or offset that.
Okay.
What would the offset be? I don't know. I need to do that calculation still.
Right.
So I'd like to kind of do a study, I think, before we move forward with a deposit, if you guys are okay with that.
I think that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have one question.
Mhm.
So if you did a deposit, but you're not going to, the system doesn't really allow you to do a refund after they've made so many payments, do you end up at the end of their service with potentially then having to do a refund?
Yes.
Your office will then have to do refunds most likely.
Right. Yeah.
Could add more.
Yes.
But also
Have
then,
challenges.
well, and if they leave town and we have no way of contacting them, then we're going into an unclaimed fund,
Unclaimed funds problem.
Yeah.
an unclaimed funds problem. I
So,
don't know.
Yeah. So out
Go
of the
ahead, if
five,
you have more to say, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, I just thinking that creates more work on the other end, so.
yeah, it does because
There's some gains, but also it's more cumbersome.
yeah, because we don't process. So we process. We send a PO over to Terry. Terry cuts the checks. So we don't actually handle that in office, but we do have to put everything together and hand it over to the auditor's office. So it is a bit of a task, and we usually try to avoid refunding. Typically, we try to stick with credits, but when somebody parts ways with the city, then obviously you're going to have to cut them a check.
Sure.
So I don't know that the juice is worth the squeeze, so to speak,
Yeah.
without having the numbers in front of me, you know.
And the communities that do the deposit system, it's their system that allows the trickle, if you will, of credits along the way that
I believe
makes
so,
that
yeah.
sensible. Okay.
So if we were to update our system at some point in time, maybe it would be on
Which
the
you're an
table again.
advocate for.
Yes,
am
I am.
correct?
Very much so.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
And if I understand it correct, you would just put this in the remarks, and you guys would have to manually go back
Well,
through each one.
Yeah, the dates would be the remarks. The system does hold the balance in the checkbook, so to speak. So we do know that they have a balance sitting there, and we would know how much the city has with, accounts it with Terry. But as far as if we tried to set a date where 12 consecutive on-time payments was to release that deposit back and absolve it, so to speak, then that would be a manual process we would have to track, and that would likely be a note field in the system. Without a report that kicks it out, we would literally have to go in and check, and I'm not even sure how we would get it done efficiently at this point.
Be a lot of extra manual
Yes.
labor that would
Don't
be
a lot
involved.
of utilities do deposits?
Yes. Well, I don't know a lot.
Some utilities do.
Yes.
Yeah, let's not. And so have we talked with our software vendor to see if there's a way to configure the software to do that?
Yes, that's
Okay.
so they were the ones that showed me how to
They also
take in the deposit, how to hold it, what the best practices were. When I talked to him about release dates, he was like, "Yeah, we don't offer any solution for that." And he was the one explaining to me that would have to be manually tracked,
Okay.
some sort of way. I'm sure there are systems, like for instance, Newark is
they
the
keep
one
it.
close to us that does that process.
Yeah.
And so I'm assuming I would have to verify with them that they have something that's tracking that timing, because I think their population is probably a little larger than ours, I would guess. But
Yeah, it is.
so but they're tracking that in that way.
Yeah, we could certainly reach out and find out how they do it.
Yeah, and see what kind of software they're using as well, because yeah. Outside of that, that was my update.
Yep.
So if you guys have
Yeah,
any questions,
I think in this general concept, I like the idea of requiring customer to be paid in full before they have their service turned on. I mean, that's of all the things we've talked about, I feel that's probably the that reduces the maximum number of shutoffs to 6 per year. I think there's a lot of benefits. I would encourage us to continue that conversation. You know, there may be other alternatives, but in this case, you know, you're going to be paying a software developer to do something that we don't have a new revenue stream for.
Right.
And then we're going to switch software, so we're going to pay a new software developer to do the same thing. And it adds complexity to something that is already too complex.
Right, yeah.
And that's, the pay in full system is what we've
Yeah, so-
decided to move to.
Yeah, pay in full, and then no same day turn-ons are the two main ones, and then what was the third one? I always think of it in numbers.
Treating wastewater the same way that we treat.
Yes, that's right. So the wastewater will also be charged the non-payment fee. Those are the three things that I think honestly, if the goal was to reduce that list and improve our process, I think those three things are really going to make a big step forward for that. So then the deposit situation I would kind of make on the, put on the back burner for right now. I'll go ahead and do my studies and we'll see, but I don't know what the return on that investment will be at this point.
It sounds like, I think we could easily put that one well out until we get a software that would allow that.
I agree.
For us to entertain that.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
If we got nothing else,
Oh,
but,
if you're going to other, I have something.
well, other,
Okay.
yeah.
So I wanted to give you guys an update, and I forgot to put it on here, of the bill. So I grabbed that this
Yes.
morning, and so we are going without color, because our customers typically don't like color. However, if you guys would like to entertain color, the cost is probably much lower than most people think.
Okay.
So if we want to change that at some point, we could. But that bill is kind of the one that we've selected to duplicate, so to speak. We are going to make some changes, and the rendering is not done yet. I wanted to try to bring that today, but they are working on that. I didn't get it back yet. So this is the example bill that we would like to kind of mimic. And on the back, the really cool part, one of our favorite parts, is that we discovered that we can maintain that back section on the bill every single month. That has some rolling information that we'd like to notify people of on a regular basis. And this company will allow us to modify that ourselves. So if we change a date or a process in that bottom section, then we're able to modify that on our own, where right now we have to pay our software company to do that. So that's a big benefit. And then that whole top section we've left open for any other information that we'd want to supply, randomly. From engineering or from, we often get other departments asking us to roll something with the bill, so we'll be able to do that in that section. And then we can also expand, so if the county wants to advertise for recycling like they did, then we can do that, but they
Pay
can
us
actually.
a small fee and
Per-
we'll
yeah.
put it in there.
Right, so they'll pay, I would assume will pay themselves, they can actually cut the PO themselves and supply the flyer, and they can print it, color, whatever they want to do, and
Sure.
it can be sent with our bills as well,
Yeah.
on the fly. So a couple of days is all I noticed they need.
Charlie Brown from the wastewater plant might have something put in there too.
Yeah,
So, fun fact here, we have wisely decided to go with black and white as
Yeah.
our city colors.
yeah.
So, solve that problem.
It is technically colored if you consider that. It's the city colors
just-
are on the bill.
Yeah, we can just grayscale it down here.
Yeah. Yeah, we don't get charged for grayscale, fortunately, so we can do grays and blacks.
Yeah.
So again, that's not fully completed. We're still working on some of the terminology, and then we're working on mapping what information goes to which sections and things like that. So next month I'll probably bring you another one. Hopefully we'll have like a rendering of what our actual bill, the beginning of it, will look like, and then at some point I'll ask for approval or changes from you guys. And
Do you have an anticipated month that we'll be switching over?
we were hoping 8 weeks from the start, so we'll probably have I would say we'll have 2 more months of our own run.
Okay.
So we'll probably be looking at the beginning of the second quarter.
Okay.
But I don't have a stamped date yet because we haven't got to the point where they can say, okay, now it's going to take this long to do the testing. So
Cool.
We're still kind of in development.
All right.
Thank you.
Questions? No? Well, hearing none, there is no further business. I'll entertain a motion for adjournment.
Well, I'll make the motion.
Oh,
He'll
sorry,
dig it.
yeah,
She'll
sorry.
second it.
Sorry.
All right. All in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed, stay here.
Stay as long as you want.